Good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of Men's Equal Rights, M.E.R. We'd like to thank you for joining us today. We have a very special guest in the studio. I'm excited that he's here. But before we get started, I'd like to welcome our panelists. You know who he is, Mr. John Rockmore. John, how's it going, man?
It is going absolutely great. Welcome, welcome. I know you've been flying all around doing what Evan Lionel does.
Yeah.
It's good to see you. I am well. Thank you for asking.
Have you seen the kids today?
I have not seen nor heard from the kids one phone call since I spoke to you, sir, last.
Wow. Well, at least you see them sometimes. And when you do.
And I think of you and I count myself blessed.
Exactly. With that being said, I'd like to first introduce our topics today because they're very important topics. Mediation. A lot of people think mediation is effective. The question is mediation at the courts effective or ineffective? And should children be allowed to choose the parent that they want to live with? Custodial parent is what that is called. Who is the custodial parent, and should children be allowed to choose where they want to live? I'd like to bring on our very special guest. I'm excited because he's one of my little brothers in the spirit and here in Hollywood. He's one of the guys I've been looking out for the longest throughout his career. I've admired his talent. He's an amazing talent, and that's why I've never hesitated to put him on or to suggest him for anyone's stage or anyone's project. He's a great actor, a brilliant comedian, and an excellent father and parent. Please welcome to the Men's Equal Rights Forum, the one and only Mr. Barry Brewer. There he is.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on. Appreciate your time.
Wow, Barry, it's good to see you. My Chi-Town brother. We both from the same neighborhood, Inglewood, in Chicago. Sir. Looks like you survived the war in Inglewood.
Hey, I thank God, man. I've survived a lot of different wars, so I'm grateful to be here. Thank you so much.
Yes, and have come out on top. Now, Barry, you know I've watched your work for years. I've worked with you for years. We've done things like a lot of shows together, the whole nine. I've always, anytime I have a show, I put you on. It's when they ask who do you want to bring, and my list is Barry Brewer, among others. In your stand-up is a lot about growing up on the South Side of Chicago. And the other thing that I'm enjoying these days is your sketch comedy. You and Big Jai, and what's the rest of the crew? Let some folks know about that, because that's something that would relieve stress in their lives. Because I look at it in the middle of the night to relieve my stress. So tell them about that, how they can check that out.
Oh, yeah. You can check me out, Barry Brewer Jr. on all platforms. Do sketches, me, Big Jai, Minx. It's a whole boatload of, they call it the whole crew is stupid sketches out. We do all type of sketches. Everybody has their own channel, but we do this one sketch that Evan loves so much. And it's like a series of sketches. It's called When the Whole Crew is Stupid. And it's just about, a play on words in the English language and how that goes. And, sometimes it can be, a hilarious thing. So we play on that and bring some urbanness to it. Urbanness, I don't know if that's a word.
Exactly.
We bring an urban feel to it and, bring our own personalities to it. And it's a great time, man. But laughter is definitely, it does the soul like medicine. And I'm very grateful for my big bro, and I being blessed with the gifts to bring laughter. So despite the challenges that we go through, it's a blessing to be a vessel to bring life and laughter to the world. So check me out on all platforms, Barry Brewer Jr. I got a stand-up special out on Amazon Prime. My first stand-up special entitled Chicago, I'm Home. It's family friendly as well for the family to watch and enjoy. And yeah, thanks so much, Big Bro, for having me.
I watched the special when it first came out. I was so proud. So I was like, "What, Barry?" Like I'm turning on the TV, and Barry's on. So I watched that and enjoyed it. Had me a little drink, had the friends over to watch it. We enjoyed it. And also your work, I've seen you on a series with Tyler Perry, one of Tyler Perry's series. What is that?
Yes, man, I'm blessed to be on a show called Bruh, Tyler Perry's Bruh. We're waiting for our second season drops May 27th on BT Plus. So yeah, it's a new show that kind of journeys these four men who went to college together and their different life paths, and you get to see their world. And I play one of the main characters with the other three bruhs. And I'm the entrepreneur who didn't graduate from college, and I'm still living with my mother and just, having a hilarious, and all my friends are successful. One's a doctor, one's a lawyer, the other's an architect. And so, yeah, it's a funny show. So please check it out. Right now, the first season is out on BT Plus. First season of Tyler Perry's Bruh, which is a spinoff of the show Sisters, which is on BT as well.
Excellent. Now, with all of this going on in your life, yes, and you're doing well in entertainment, you're a young Black man making money, life is good for you, and your father, and you're married. You're married, and yes, your child was before you got married. So you had fatherhood in place already, but you were going through difficulties. How does one who is this successful as a young man in the game, which is the dream, you live in the dream that all of us strive to live. You're living that. I've lived it. I'll continue to live it. You're living it. How is it possible a good man, a God-fearing man who loves his children, how is it possible that you have difficulty seeing your son? Explain to us what has gone on in your life concerning fatherhood.
Well, yeah, without going into too many details, man, I think there's a plethora of factors that has played a big part in that difficulty with my son specifically. Unfortunately, relationships go left, for several reasons. Sometimes it's our own, mistakes or anything, but, it's kind of a similar situation in my relationship with my ex, my past relationship, where we parted ways basically. And I think that just because of the hurt and the frustration of the relationship not working out, mom seems to just want to control and to, I think, use my child as a pawn to get back at me, to make me pay in some way, which was said several times early on. And I think that's the case. I unfortunately think that maybe mom's not that happy in life also, because I don't believe that people that are very happy wants to keep that. I also think that people sometimes are so hurt that they're hurting the very thing they say they love, which is that child, unfortunately. And you said something earlier, Evan, is very true, that the child suffers, right? And I think that's what hurts me the most. Naturally, every parent, mother or father, wants to be with their children. I think loving parents anyway. And so it does hurt to not be with your child, but it hurts even more when your child's hurt, when your child's lacking resources. We all work to make a better lives and make life better for our children. That's why you work hard. You don't work hard just to be flexing and, yeah, look at me. Like, you want your child to have it a little better than you had. You want to give them some more options and resources in life that you did not have, so that they can hopefully take the movement even further than you taking it. That's my goal personally. I'm always aspiring to be great. I pray that I leave a legacy, a mark on this world that was better because I've came here, and I hope that my children
Wow.
sees that. So I want to play a big part in that. So it seems like a struggle often times to play that role, you know what I mean? And to play that role in their life. And it's just a constant battle. And it's emotional, it's obvious, right? Because, me and my child's mother has been disconnected for a long time. So it's like, at this point, I don't even know, how to put it in. Like when people say, what's the problem? What's going on? I can't even really give you an answer. I can assume why.
You could speculate. You could speculate.
Speculate. Yeah.
What is the speculation of what she's heard about, Barry? What has she heard about?
I always struggle with sharing this because I seem like I don't think I'm that special, right? I'm like, she wanted to be with me. Like, I don't want to say that, right? Because it sounds a little like you think you all that, and that's not at all what I'm saying, right? Because I think she's a beautiful person, look and
she is. I met her. She's beautiful.
She got a lot going for herself. So I don't like to say that, but I think that is part of it. I think that she wanted the relationship to work. And at the place that she was, it hurt her, that it did not. And I think that hurt or that wound was never truly healed. And I think that our connection to our child is a reminder of what did not work, unfortunately, right? I think it's a reminder, right? The fact that I have to sit here and converse with you and work things out with you concerning this child of ours is a reminder that what I really wanted to work out didn't work out. And so, she hasn't healed, in my opinion, from that, because that's where the friction is. And so
do you think she's happy at all of the success that you've been achieving? Being the father of her son, I would think that she should be happy. Your father is taking off in Hollywood. He's doing well.
I would think so. I would think that any parent that their ex and the parent of their child is doing well, they were like, well, I didn't make too many bad decisions. At least I did something. I got a parent, even if we're not together, they care about the child. They're doing well. They want to help, But sometimes I think because of that wound, when you wanted something to work, and I'm going to say this as a comedian, sometimes people don't want you to be doing well. You know what I mean? They want to feel like they better off that you not doing well. Like, yeah, good. So when you're doing well, maybe it shines more, puts salt on that wound. Like, it makes it harder to accept that it didn't work out. But again, I want to just really voice that it's hard to eat because that's still speculation. I don't know, right? Because I don't want to walk around thinking my success is making somebody feel bad, or that, what happened in the past is something that's still lingering within the person. But yeah, I think it could play a part. Yeah. If somebody say, hey, that's what it is, you could be right. I would never know.
Well, when it comes to your child, anybody can see that you want the best for your child. Absolutely, and you want things to work out concerning the mother. We can hear that. What are the difficulties that you face on a daily basis when it comes to your child? And be honest, because there's someone out there who needs to hear it that's going through it, and possibly this could help.
I definitely want to talk about it. I face on a daily is communication, having a say in my child's life, how he's raised, where he's going to be, as far as education concerns and activities, and sometimes not even being able to communicate with him very frequently at points, like I deal with so many different difficulties, like that. And unfortunately, I know my big bro deals with something on even another scale where he doesn't get to see his children at all and doesn't know where they are. So I always try to count my blessings, but I don't want to be okay with that. I want to be a full-time. It means nothing to me to go out here and be great in my career and nothing, and I can't play a part in how my child's life. Like, I can be the most successful in every area of my career, and if my child is not, if I couldn't play a part in my child's greatness, like, it doesn't amount to, there's just something about that, you know what I mean? And so I think greatness starts at home. They said charity starts at home first. So anyway, just those are some of the difficulties: communication, talking to my child, having a say in what's happening with
Give
them.
an example of communication. Let's hear an example of
Like
what's
I just want to
difficult.
call. I just want to talk. Like for example, I got my son a phone, right, and
Okay.
he has the phone. So children are not responsible. So it's our jobs as parents, especially if you're the custodial parent, whether you be the mom or dad, to make sure the child is accessible to the other parent that's not around most of the time.
Mhm.
So trying to call them, the phone's dead, trying to call mom, no response, no answer. I can go days with no response, no answer, and don't know how my child's doing, and you don't want to go over nobody's house unannounced now that I'm closer and things like that. So it's just, you know what I mean? Like it's all of that. If my child says, "Oh, I want to," if I do have him, he wants to stay an extra night. That's not even no. Well, why? There's no answer. Can I come get him and take him to get something to eat? Let's just go and have a couple of hours. No, you'll see him when you see him. Like it's just like it's like it's like I'm a friend of his who lives somewhere who wants to. It's like another kid asking, "Hey, can he come out and play?"
Wow.
No, not today. Okay, well, let me know when he can come out to play. And I feel like that as a parent, and it's just unfortunate, especially when I've been all there the whole time. I've done nothing to not have a say. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a child asking, can his child come out to play? A father asking, can his child come out to play? And that's how I feel about it. And I've been feeling that since the breakup. Yeah.
Is this something that caused you to have to go to court, or did she initiate court?
No, yes. So yeah, court has played unfortunately in there now, can't speak of specifics, but yes, that definitely was the cause of it, because I think if parents can communicate and be on the same page, there's no reason, the courts would prefer you work it out. They don't want to make a decision about a child they have no care for, no love. Because the truth of the matter, if something happened to your child right now, of course, you'll be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's sad." And they're moving on. Next case.
Absolutely.
They do not care. And so they don't care. And they ain't in evil intended. They just don't know. When you see that somebody passed away, you're always sad about it, but because you have no relationship with that person, you don't know how this person looks, you've never had any interaction with that person, there's a disconnect there. So you can turn off the TV and go back to having your life and whatever you were doing and not think again about that person because you had no relationship to them. And unfortunately, we're forced to be in a position where we have to bring this in front of these people who has no care or love or connection to our child and say, "Hey, I'm not being treated fairly in how this concept is, and I need you to see that and allow me to have a say in what I should already have a say in." We should, and what's the most frustrating thing is when sometimes mediators or court people or judges see you and they think that you're not a person of ration, that you can't work it out. And so because they see two people not at fault, they assume that both of you are immature and nobody's, trying to do the best for the child. That's the unfortunate thing about court. You always seem to be just as immature as the other person because you're there. You know what I mean? By default, because you're there in front of them, both of you all are immature and that both of you all can come together and both of you all have some, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of like always the energy early on. And you got to go through all of these hoops and hurdles to show like, no, I've been rational. No, I tried to do everything I can before I came here. I really did. I was humble. I prayed. I talked to her. I was humble. I pleaded with her. I talked to this person. I talked to her mama. I tried to talk to her sister. I tried to talk to her boy. I tried to talk to everybody. And it just didn't work. And I don't know what else to do. This is my last resort. You know what I'm saying? And it's so unfortunate too, because I can see some men stop fighting because it's so taxing on your energy. Like I can see why people give up. I can see why, like it wasn't before, being a young Black man, we have a known thing about Black men not being fathers, not there. But it wasn't until I was in the court system that I looked and saw all of these Black fathers trying to be in their children's life. And it's so many of them, almost every man I met this is what I heard. This one sentence I've heard so consistently.
Can I tell you what it is? Hold up.
Go ahead.
I just want to see my kids.
I just want to be a father of my kids, bro.
And I was nowhere near your court case or anything. But that's what they say at every courthouse. I just want to see my kid. I want to be a father of my kids.
That's it. It's the common denominator. And it's so sad to me because it's like, it's so sad to me. You know what? I was in court years ago and I saw a situation where my child mom wasn't there and she was lying about something. And we finished the case and another mother did like this to her. And it was so sad. It hurt. Another mother sitting in the courtroom high-fived her.
Because she was giving you grief and drama.
You know what's sad to me? It was so hurtful. And every mother is not like this because it's not about mother, father. It's about great parents. It's about people trying to be great parents. Like, I really want to drive that point home because when you say father, sometimes great mothers get offended because of the gender. Okay, I'm the mother. But this is just about being a great parent. I want to be a parent to my child. Like, I don't want to, it don't have nothing to do with gender. And so when I saw her high five her, you know, I wasn't offended. I was saddened because I'm like, you don't even know the facts. And there's a child in the middle of it suffering. And you high-fiving her and you promoting her. You won't even take the time to, I witnessed recently a situation that's very similar to mine with these two parents. And I broke down in tears at a basketball little AAU thing recently. And I went and talked to the mama and I went and talked to the daddy. And I felt like they were me. And I went to talk to them and pleaded with them. Like, I want somebody to plead for me and my child's mama to work it out. Because I'm like, these babies they don't know. They have, like, whatever your differences is. Like, he may have been a bad boyfriend. He may have been a terrible husband. He is not. You got to understand, you can't use that information to then take away his fatherhood or his parenthood. You get what I'm saying? And I see that often. I had an opportunity to talk to this mom, and I'm so grateful for this mom. She was like very, and for whatever reason, she started to be open to me. And she's like, she called me, we exchanged information. She's like, you know what? Something's tugging on me. And I hear what you're saying. It's tugging on me. And I don't know what's happened to that, but I was just so grateful to see her say, I said this to her, I just like, when that child is grown, whatever happens to that child emotionally and physically, who's responsible for it? And I would hate for time to prove you wrong that what you were doing was not effective and helpful for that child because you are holding such a grudge against the father and what he did in the relationship to you.
And so if you had like the perfect scenario, what would it be?
Oh my God. The perfect scenario is that we could be good friends, the child mom and I, and really just have no issue. And then when it came to our child, we just like, hey, what's best for him? You know, we're like team child, like what's best for him? Yeah, why is that best? Okay, yeah, that works. Okay, cool, let's do that. Like it's not about, I'm not gonna let you win and I gotta show you I'm the better parent. Like that is truly about what's best for the child and that we can come and bring our brains and our energy together, our both specialties and her family and her side and her husband and whoever and my wife, like whatever greatness has on either part that we can bring it together and give it all to the children that they can be great. That would be the perfect scenario, right? Because the perfect scenario to me, I was telling my wife, I was like, it's not even winning. Let's just say they give me my son. Here you go. You raise them, It's not even the perfect scenario because you still have a part in this.
Absolutely.
I need you. I can nurture, I think I'm a sensitive guy, right?
But you can't be the child's mother.
I can't be her. I didn't carry him. It's certain things that you got that he needs, and it's certain things I got that he needs. So he needs us both. And he needs us both to get on the same page. And I've been trying to plead with that for the longest. Like, I've apologized to you, can't apologize no more. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. I don't know. I ain't holding nothing against you. I'm like, there's something there, obviously. Because we wouldn't be in this if it wasn't. And it's sad to me now because my child is getting older and he's more aware, right? Because he knows, like, he can sense, hey, such and such, such and such. And the way we respond, he knows what's up. And I'm trying my best because he said, hey, Dad, why can't I see you? Why can't I talk? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? And he's asking me these questions. And I don't want to say, man, your mom, but low key, I'm like, bro,
What can you say?
like, it's like I don't even want to put her in a bad light, but I don't even know what else to tell him.
Here's the question. The question is, do you tell him the truth? And at what age do you tell him the truth? Because it's like, what other choice do you have?
I have no choice because this is what I've learned. I was like, and I've struggled with it for a long time. And this is recent. You know, I was just like, I don't want to try to I do want to keep you out of it, but you're so in it that I said, hey, I try to make it as soft as possible. I was like, hey, me and mommy just, see differently. And, until we see better, things will get better, but know that we both love you, know that we're here. We just trying to work it out best we can. So we're going to have somebody help us work it out. That's it.
The question is, do your son, kids today, Barry, they're way more advanced than we were. And when you say me and mom see differently, is the child thinking, come on with that, Dad? That's garbage.
No,
what's really going on?
He's smart. He's asking me that. And I told him, I said, we see differently. He's like, about what? And I said, mommy wanted to keep it this way. He's like, but you hear, like he voices the same thing I'm voicing. He's like, but you hear and da 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 da. I was like, I understand, but in life sometimes people see things different.
And to clarify that, hold on a minute, John. I see you. To clarify that, you moved. You had a house here in LA where I'm at right now. You chose to move back to Chicago area to be close to your son. You are out there. How far away is he from you?
Well, let me say this first. I just want to put this out there. For 8 years, I traveled from LA to Chicago once a month during the school year and have my son a month a week for 8 years.
Wow.
So for 8 years, I went years. During the school year, I traveled once a month. My whole life stops for a week. I travel from LA. I come sleep in the same bed in my mama's house. Me and my son would sleep in the same bed wherever school he went to. I would rent a car, get up early, take him sometimes an hour away to school because now I have him for that week and go pick him up from school. We do everything for that week. After that week, I would travel back. More recently, I moved back because it got draining. And I'm like, he's getting older, da, 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 da. I moved back. Mom doesn't want to, open up. Like, nah, same thing, da, 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 da. I want it to be, nothing's changing. I'm like,
so you moved back and she wants to treat you like you still live in LA.
Exactly.
And for 8 years, you're traveling back and forth. And I know that for a fact because I watched you do it. And I would talk to you in the process. You go, I'm in Chicago. I'm back here, big bro. I'm in Chicago. I'm back here.
I got the receipts.
Yes. And how expensive was that?
And man, it was very expensive. But the most important, it was taxing of my body and my mind, like my brain. But for me, none of that mattered because I knew that I needed to stay close to my son. And let me say this, my son was born in LA. So him moving or coming back to Chicago wasn't to my knowledge or wasn't to that was mom took the child. And then that was a whole thing too. You get what I'm saying?
So did you go to mediation at the court?
I've been mediation several times. At what point?
Was it effective in any way?
No, it was not. Mediation is not effective unless two people are willing to work it out. And then you really don't need mediation. I think the last mediator that I had, she was really good. And I say that to say that she really was not trying to pull down walls to make sure, like, hey, where can we get you all to? And I shouldn't say that.
Let me interject for a minute. Excuse me, Barry. We have a situation technically, guys. Could you address it immediately, please?
To make sure, like, hey, where can we get you all to? And I shouldn't say that.
Does someone have their live on?
We have a situation technically, guys. Could you address it immediately, please?
Hold on for a minute, Barry.
Aaron, you need to chat that, please, right away. Can you mute that right away, Aaron? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, excuse the interruption, folks. We truly apologize for the technical difficulties, but this is still a new show and things can take place and things will happen. So, with that being said, Barry, who initiated court for you to end up in a mediation situation? Was it you that said, I got to go to court because I'm not getting, my rights aren't
Yes, the initial court was me because of that. This has been a year. It's been over years that I've been in and out of this process. So the initiation of it, beginning has been me, from asking, I said my child was taken from, where he was living, which is LA. And
born in LA and living in LA. How did she get away with, that's kidnapping. That's considered kidnapping. Did she ask your permission?
No.
She just took the baby without any.
Yeah, she took the baby and said that she was visiting her mom, and never came back. And I was ignorant to the system and didn't file an emergency, filed a regular petition. So it took the length of the 6 months. So wherever a child was born or wherever a child is for 6 months, that is his home state. Now, if a case is filed within that time, that is still the child's home state. I had a negligent judge, or a judge that wasn't very familiar with the UCJEA. UCCJEA is what it's called, which is a uniform jurisdiction custody code, basically, that exists around the country, that kind of keeps parents from doing exactly that. Like, a parent can take a child, kidnap them, hold them for 6 months in another state, and try to make it that case so that they can have the case in their backyard, wherever they decide they want to set up. Now, when I went to court years ago for that, basically, on file, I won an appeal, actually, by myself, because the judge denied and said the home state was not where it was. I asked for a motion for reconsideration. He denied that based on some other factors. I then filed an appeal, had to go through a whole year with the appellate court, won the appeal. The court brought the case back to Los Angeles, which is all public records. And that judge denied the home state based on some other factors. And my lawyer, who I didn't got at the time, amazing lawyer, said, hey, you would win this again if you went to the appellate court and they would give you jurisdiction back in Los Angeles. He said, but that's a whole nother year of you fighting, not seeing your son, You could just go to Chicago and fight. So those are your options. You can go fight for where you want home state to be, or you can just go fight in Illinois. So I chose to go fight in Illinois, given that my family is still here and, I have, roots here. So, I can get quicker results because working at the appellate level was on one fact of where home state was. So that would take a year. And then you now need to file a case for then the trial to start moving on the actual issues of custody and visitation and so forth and so on. So then that would have took another year. So it would have been almost 2-3 years of me not really being able to see.
And what's to say you would have gotten a judge in California that was not biased or fair, just a fair judge? That's hard to find as well. So the fact that you took it to Illinois, I commend you. You decided to accept that she took your baby to Illinois, took your son, and a case was there. And here you are, a father begging strangers to see your own flesh and blood, your own son. It sounds like you were pleading with him. I just want more time with my son. That's what mediation is all about. Why didn't mediation work for you?
I'm gonna tell you why mediation working, but let me tell you what one judge told me. He asked me, this is the craziest question I've ever heard. A male judge asked me, why do you want to see your son? He said, why do you want more time with your child? He asked me that. I was so blown away. I didn't even know how to answer that.
Why?
I'm like, because he's my child. Like, are you
exactly?
Ask any parent, ask a mother, why do you want to be with your, like when he asked me that, I didn't even know how to respond to them. Like, I'm just like, at this point, I was lost for words. I don't even know what to tell. Why do you love your child? Why do you want, like, that's a question because like, that's just not a question I think a human would ask another human. You know what I mean? Why do you want to live? I have a lot of reasons why. Like, that's that question. Like, why are you asking me that? But anyway, you were asking me why didn't mediation work?
Yes.
I'm trying to speak very general. Mediation didn't work because I don't want to sound biased. I don't want to, because she didn't want to.
No, we don't bash people on the show. We just tell the truth, Barry. It is what it is. It's not about bashing. And let me say that right now, M.E.R does not bash anyone. We bring on women we bring on anyone. We just want them to tell the truth. What is the truth?
The truth is that what I believe is fair, mom didn't think is fair. Mom didn't see it the same way. She wanted.
So give an example.
Can I just be clear? I'm gonna just say what I feel. Mom wants to control everything. Mom doesn't want to share control because then she doesn't have control. Mom can't use the child as a pawn if there's equal say. Now, by law, there is equal say. Like, I have equal say on paper by judgment.
But you have 50-50 custody?
I do, but I don't get to it. I don't get to express it. I don't get to I don't get to
exercise
it. Right. I'm alienated from my rights.
Wow.
As a parent. I literally am. Like, I don't get to say where and how my son goes to school and activities. I don't get to say, like, it's an argument. And because the child is with the other parent more of the time, what can I do?
If you have 50-50 custody, how is the child with the other parent more than you?
Because I wasn't living in the state. I wasn't living in the state. And so because I didn't live in the state.
Because she took the child to Illinois.
Home state, remember, they gave them home state. So when you got home state now, so now it's a harder thing to say, now I have to go and argue, well, he really supposed to be back there and I need to take him from his mom and take him back. That's a harder struggle now. So now that put him with mom more because dad was still in LA. So now dad comes back to Chicago and say, hey, I'm here now. So now we can just equally exchange. I've been already here as much as I could be here. Obviously, now I'm here. We live minutes away from each other. Let's just share the responsibility. You know, as any parents, you know, and any good parent, in my opinion, will want to share the responsibility, right? Like pick up the slack where I'm, you know, where I can't get it and you get it. But when you're,
let me say this, Barry. First of all, you're an excellent father, excellent human being. We can all see that, and your desire is to just be a good father to your son while she's being a good mother so that you can both raise your son to live a good life and to achieve things and make his great contributions to society. Mr. Rockmore, I see you've been over there like really jumping out of your seat with questions. So let's bring in John Rockmore, and there are people sending in comments and questions who support you and support your situation. And again, this is not against your ex. This is just about allowing you to be a father to your son and you not having to beg to be that. Go ahead, Mr. Rockmore.
Okay, let me start with this. First of all, what is your son's name?
My son's name is Barry Vincent Brewer III.
Barry Vincent Brewer III, you are a lucky, lucky child. Your father loves you so, so much. You get a chance to see this. You need to know this. I don't even know where to start with you. Number one, let's start with you standing outside with your baseball bat and your glove. Can Barry come out and play with me? No, you know his daddy ain't right, so he can't come out. That is sad to me, but absolutely funny when you actually picture it. You with the same hat on, trying to see your son standing outside in the backyard with your baseball glove on, because that's how you made it feel, like a child going down the street to their friend's house and mom don't like you. So that's absolutely sad.
And it's obvious something that John has experienced as well, because I could see when you were saying it, he was identifying with it. And there are many fathers out there going through this same struggle. And that is why we do the forum in the first place. That is why we have come together. So please join Men's Equal Rights Forum. Please join, like, and share and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, because there are many fathers and mothers going through this same situation.
Yeah.
Let's just take care of our child the best way we both can. Life is hard enough. Go ahead, Mr. Rockmore.
Yeah.
Now, right at the top of the show, you had said, you were saying, hey, I'm not all that, but the relationship was hurtful. And it's some of the things that you had said kind of brought what we do and how we talk to people. It brought a full circle, because often we hear about once the mother, again, we're not bashing, but in this case, the mother is so upset about the relationship that somehow it seems to just overshadow the love for the child, because their heart is hurt. Yeah. They don't seem to understand that this is going to hurt my child. And they'll say, I love this child more than oxygen, but he hurt me and he's got to pay. And I've seen many, many times where the child is used as a pawn. No, you cannot see your son. And sometimes if you get in an off argument, that'll be the thing that comes out of their mouth. You'll never see your son. And you're kind of like, whoa, how did it get that bad? So yeah, that hit home.
Yeah, it's dead on. It's dead on. It's so crazy how consistent it is. That's the saddest part about it. It's almost like we can talk to 100 men, and I would believe like 98 or 99 of them will have the exact same story.
But I'll tell you what I wouldn't see. And this is giving me chills. It broke my heart. You had a woman high-fiving her?
Yes.
Listen, let's don't even talk about how many laws were broken with no repercussions whatsoever to steal the child and leave. Because if you stole your son, if I stole my son, if Evan went and got his children and said, you know what, I'm gonna go for a visit and not
take
come
them
back
to the next state. Yeah.
And not come back, he'll be doing this interview through a plate glass window, probably in Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In jail and still just with a desire to see my children, but that's how the system is treating men. That's why this forum is important. And people are like writing in, Barry, and saying they are shocked that a judge would say to you, why do you want to see your son?
They said that. I am not exaggerating. They said that. And let me say this. And I know you all probably, Evan, being a spiritual guy, spoke on this. I understand that there's a deeper spiritual issue here, right? As we look as African American men and look at the history of time, the man has been intentionally trying to be snatched out of the homes. We understand what a man means to a family. We understand what a father means to a community. Fathers mean to communities. And so it's unfortunate that it seeps right into the custody world, right? So as a father, it's some underlying there, right? When that man said that to me, he wasn't talking as a father, as a parent. He was looking at me as something else that I don't even know what it was, right? And it's unfortunate and it's crazy because this really happens. And I mean, and it's people that look just like me and you doing it. And you like, you would think that they would care a little more because they know the scarcity of us and where we are and how important it is for us to be there. And any man willing to spend his energy, his time, all his resources to be present in his child's life, unfortunately, should mean something. And maybe I'm talking bias right now, but I just think, and when I look out in the world, I see people not caring. And if I see somebody in front of me that got an attorney and spent money, I'm just a little more open and considerate of what they would have to say, and it makes me question the morals of where a judge or lawyers and the morale of them, these people who hear and choose to do family law. I would think that your morals is to help, is to build families, is to be a representative to help families to get to great places. I love this one lawyer I had. He was a Los Angeles lawyer. Mm-hmm. And he said, listen, unless you really care about this child, I'm not representing you.
He's hard to find, whoever that is.
And I really want to say his name because his name, Mark Carney, told me that. He said, I'm going to be honest with you. If you're asking me to do something or ask, I will stop representing you. I love that in who that man was. I was so grateful for him because when he was talking, I didn't even have to say much because he was talking as though it was his child.
Man.
What is his name again? What is
Mark Carney?
Mark Carney. Yes,
Mark
in LA.
Carney.
So if you need help, reach out to Mark Carney.
He's an amazing attorney, and he was, you can tell that he practiced family law because he cares about family and he has a story and he represents mothers and fathers, but he represents the person that's genuinely trying to do the best for the child. And even though a lot of the laws are saying what's best for the child, I don't believe that is really being looked at. I think that people are not really looking closely at any situation. Every situation is different. So every father ain't great and every mother ain't great, but you got to look at every instance, at every situation for what it is and really pay attention. And I understand that, I was looking at one of the judges going through, man, and he's hearing everything. He's hearing small claims. He's hearing this violent matter. And then he's hearing something about a child who's maybe not doing well in school. And you know what I mean? So now he got to sit here and choose what to give his energy to because this is his job. And I had to understand it and say, that is a lot. That's a lot for a person, And so the system needs to be, helped in a way to help the attention to all the matters and especially in custody, because this is our future. Your child, my child is our future. And if they don't get the proper attention, whether you think we just tripping or not, if nobody's really attentive and looking at the details, time will show who was really paying attention.
It's obvious by the state of the community, the Black community, the so-called Black community where the majority Black people live. It's obvious the difference because of the absence of fathers. You see the state of our communities. It's in disarray. Any Black community you go to, it's in disarray because in large numbers, fathers are absent. And I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm from the Black community, grew up in it, just left it, been there, go there. I'm there all the time. And there's a great absence of fathers in our community. That's why anybody can come into the community and do whatever they want to do to us because there is an absenteeism of fathers and strong Black male figures. Now, a lot of people are writing in saying, first of all, they commend you, Barry, for being so strong and actually staying through this and going through this.
Can we speak to that?
Yes, but first I want you to touch on custodial parent again because they need to hear what a custodial parent is and why is your ex the custodial parent and not you?
The facts of the matter is because the child was taken from the home state where we live.
Taken illegally?
Illegally taken without our both of us agreeing, taken back to another state where we both are from.
And that's first.
That's a fact. That's fact.
And your child was born in Los Angeles?
Born, yes.
Okay, that is the home state. That's where you both lived at the time. Child was born. You both were residents of Los Angeles. That's why you're saying that. This is nothing against her. It's just
No,
fact.
that's a fact. No, the first year of his life, his residency was in Los Angeles. Yeah.
And so what she did was take your son to Illinois, and after 6 months, Illinois became the home state, and thus she became the custodial parent.
No, that's the wrong part. So within the first month that my child left, I filed a case in Los Angeles. So by law, by the UCCJEA, you cannot go anywhere and file another case. But mom did. And instead of when that was presented to the Los Angeles County Court, family court, they, not being aware of the UCCJEA, granted mom, saying that was the home state, not knowing that this was, you got to look at what was the home state of the child when the first case was filed.
Absolutely.
And if you don't consider that, then easily wherever the child's been for the last 6 months, oh, that's where he is. So remember, I filed the case the first month that my child had left. It took me about 6 months to get in front of a judge. When I got in front of a judge, I didn't know she filed a case because I had never received anything. She had a lawyer say that they had filed a case and the child had been there for 6 months. Based on that information, the judge said, oh, well, since he's been there, that's the home state, because that's what home state is. I filed a motion for reconsideration, proving my point that the home state is during the filing of the petition where the child, what was his home state then? He wasn't even in Chicago but a month. So that wasn't his home state. He had been in LA for a year of his life. He was only one. So that was his home state. So another parent can't go file another case to try to gain, it's called forum shopping. It's another name for it. But basically where if I want to move away from you and we're in a relationship, I take the child and I hide them from you until I get that time. And then I stamp that time. And then I get to now fight it here. So now it frustrates you coming to fight the court case, things like that. So that was why this was invented. This is why the UCCJEA was invented and why it came about. I filed a motion for consideration. What happened was that judge was offended by me. Like I was defending myself.
How dare you? How dare you?
And listen, and can I say this just humbly, I want to say this to any father out there. It's so important to get representation because he didn't know that I would go to the appellate level. He didn't think I had the understanding to do it. And it costs a lot of money when you pay a lawyer to go to the appellate level because there's a lot of writing, it's a lot of research.
It starts at $20,000.
It's a lot of money. But I was so blessed to find a paralegal who I can work with and sit and work with me in getting my appeal together and won the appeal, right? But it's unfortunate. I won it and still, it still got me, it got me a little closer, but it's so much stuff. This is why I was talking about the journey of it. But anyway, I don't want to go off your question. I forgot what your question was. How did home state or how did the child get to have the custodial mom?
That's right. How is she the custodial parent and not
so
you?
Based on where
won an appeal, the home state was here, but go ahead.
Yeah, basically they brought the case back to Los Angeles. Los Angeles heard the case. They said, well, the child has been there for a year now, a year and some change. So the judge was like, well, I don't like what you want me to do now. You want me to take them, uproot them? And the lawyer was like, you have to. That's what the
law says.
That's what I have to say. So he's like, yeah, I can't do that because everything the child has now developed is there. So I'm saying that. So now my attorney was like, you would just have to file another appeal because the judge felt uncomfortable, which I understand, right? The child had been there because the appeal took a year and the child had been there like a year and some change, almost a year and a half.
Let me interject, Barry. The judge felt uncomfortable because it was you, a young Black man. If it would have been the mother saying, bring the child back, the father stole him, took him to another state, and this is the home state, he was born here, we both had resident here, the child's birth certificate is here, and you took the child out of the state,
it would be a different story.
The judge would say, bring him back and arrest Barry Brewer. And I'm sick of this biased, unfair treatment of fathers who love their children. Go ahead, Mr. Rockmore. Were you trying? Did you have a point?
I do. I mean, it's like the judge broke the law.
Of
because
course.
his opinion mattered more than the law.
Yes. They
That
have,
is
and that's the
ridiculous.
problem too. The judge has too much discretion in family court. They have nobody overseeing them. And if you get a biased judge, and there's great judges out there, let me say, but if you get a biased judge for whatever reason that don't like you or just disinterested in whatever the facts are, they can make any ruling. And if you don't have the finances, the patience, and the time to go through the channels you have to go through to overturn that judgment, it will be hell to pay for you and the journey you have to go through. And I think that that's another broken thing in the system. They have too much discretion.
And what Barry is saying is that family court, family law needs to be regulated, 100% regulated. If they don't start regulating family court, this madness that's happening to children will continue to happen. Children are growing up with one parent and a one-sided idea of everything, a one-sided view. In my case, I'm sure I've been vilified to my children. I'm sure that they've been told their father has abandoned them and doesn't want them. And I have fought 8 long, hard years and invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in winning appeals, hundreds of thousands of dollars in winning cases that made no difference. I still don't know where my children are. I still have not been able to speak to them. And let me say this, because we're winding down in the show. If my children are tuning in, your father loves you. I have never abandoned you. I'm right here waiting to see you, waiting to hold you. There's never been a case against me concerning your mother. I've never harmed your mother. I've never been charged with anything. I've never been to prison about any of that. I don't have any other children outside of my marriage that I've chosen over you. None of those things are real. What is real is your father loves you dearly and wishes he could see you every day, all day, like I was seeing you before the courts got involved and before crooked attorneys got involved. In Barry's case, he gave the other side, which is he had a good attorney that said, if this is not about your child and you don't love your child, I'm not going to take your case. That's a good attorney. In my case, my ex hired a corrupt attorney, and his main objective was to vilify me and to get me out of my children's lives. And he did everything he could. He cheated, he lied, he tried to set me up, get criminal cases against me. All of those things they failed at because it was not God's will. But they are still hiding our children from me. I'd like to say to the mother, I'm not blaming you for anything. They brought you into this. They did this in family court. Family court needs to be regulated like my brother Barry Brewer just said. He is not only my brother in entertainment, he is my spiritual brother. He's a child of God just like I am. We desire 50-50 custody for real. That is where both parents equally take part in their children's lives. We desire to be active parents just like you are and be 50-50 in the decision making concerning our children. That would give them 100% of both of us. And we don't want to have to fight to see our children. We want to have to be there for them when they need us, anytime they need us, because we love them. That is the only reason that we want to be in our children's lives, because they are our children and we love them. Young brother Barry, I'm so proud of you. And I know you know that. I'm proud, truly proud of you, because you've always been a good man. You did not let this turn you bad. I appreciate all of you for tuning in to our 13th episode, the last episode of the season. And what great way to take us out for the last season. Last episode is Barry Brewer on. Barry, please tell the people how they can reach you, how they can see these brilliant sketches, how they can see you on the Tyler Perry show that you're on, and many other projects. Please share with them what you're doing.
Definitely. First of all, just thank you for having me on. Thank you for having this platform. I pray that it brings families together. I pray that it gives parents that's maybe on the other end of the spectrum some insight into the hearts of the other parent that just wants to play their role in the child's life. I pray it brings families together and heals some wounds that's been, there. And I pray that, this does some good. I pray some fathers, you can be reunited with their children. I pray to God that, Evan, you see your children. I pray to God that mothers that's not being alienated from their children, that they get to be together. I pray that this really heals a lot of wounds that's been there, and we've been overlooking what we're really damaging, which is this thing we love is our children. So I pray, God, please heal the land. Please, Jesus, heal them. And so it's emotional because, man, we love our kids, man. And and we want the best for them. And we don't want to continue to fight with the other parent. Like, it ain't even about that, like we want them to win. We want them to succeed. We want life to be great for them too. Right. Absolutely. So thank you so much for having me on. I'm Barry Brewer Jr. on every platform. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. It's so many stuff. Just look my name up, please, if you care to follow me. I'm a comedian. I do sketches, stand-up comedy. Again, my special is out. Chicago, I'm home. Please check that out. It's family friendly. I'm on a new show, blessed to be on it. Tyler Perry's Bruh, the second season premieres May 27th. First season is already out on BT Plus. I was also blessed to be on another show called Games People Play, which is on BT Plus 2, and the second season should be coming this fall with Lauren London and a plethora of other amazing actors. Again, Brother John Rockmore, it's such a pleasure, and everybody who makes M.E.R. happen. Thank you all for having me on. I appreciate you, big bro. I love you. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for all the families out there, that we find our way so that our communities can grow stronger and that we can make a difference and make this world a better place for generations to come.
Yes, well said, well said. Mr. Rockmore, we're over time, so please make it short, sir.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Brewer, for being on here. And you are a great comedian, but you are not supposed to have a sense of humor when it comes to seeing your son. We love the way you love. Real quick, thank you, Miss Denise Crosby, for checking in and leaving your comments. Thank you, Miss Cassandra Thomas, for leaving your comments. And Twitch, love what you guys are doing. Please keep tuning in, like, and subscribe. Thank you, Mr. Evan Lionel, for letting me be your sidekick.
And thank you, Mr. Rockmore, for being here. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in to Men's Equal Rights, M.E.R. We thank you. We ask that you like and subscribe to the YouTube page. That will bring it to a close for our first season. We'll see you again for the second season coming up very soon. We appreciate all of you, and we'd like to say to all of the children out there who know that their father loves them, especially mine, I'm right here. Just call your father. Don't listen to any stories that are out there against your father. How about you take it upon yourself to contact your father or contact your mother who's been alienated from you and hear the story straight from them as to where they've been and what has happened in life. We love you, our beautiful children, and we desire to be with you, and we want nothing but the best for you. God bless all of you, and thank you for tuning in to M.E.R, Men's Equal Rights. We'll see you next time. My name is Evan Lionel. You can hit me on every platform there is. You can Google me. I'll be there. God bless all of you. Thanks for tuning in.